So thanks everybody for joining and Happy New Year. We are going to rearrange the agenda a bit so we can put some votes early because a member has to leave. So actually what we're going to do, if you're okay, Carol, let's start with the bills to be paid.
Sure. So we have WCP Consultants, $1406.25. We have Squarespace, $20, which automatically was already withdrawn for the short domain renewal, and that's for 6 months. Rent, $150. Bowers and Company, $1,000 for the 2023 charitable tax return, which got filed in October. And then Town of Cape Vincent payroll reimbursement, $196.31, totaling $2772.56.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Thanks, Dave. And the second?
Second.
Bill seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, Carol, pay the bills.
Financial reports are filed if you want to either read them or you can just look at them, whichever.
Yeah. Do you want to just give the highlights? Just. I
Well, we
mean, I
got interest posted on one of the CDs, which also renewed. $1,178 of interest hit in December. For the year, our income less expenses, $48,764 was not spent. And our total bank account CDs altogether are $176,306. Those are the highlights.
Yeah, we're rearranging a couple of things so that we would have everyone here to vote on the resolution. So another thing that we have to talk about is I would like a motion to sign our agreement with MRB. I sent an email out to this effect. This is the $5,000 not to exceed. We use them to help with Paris or to answer questions, but I need authorization from the board to sign this. So,
And I will say, I don't know what we spent, but it was not $5,000.
oh, it's never five. Yeah, but it's just nice to have that ceiling on it and to know that they're a phone call away when we need them. They're very
And I use them
responsive.
for the Paris filings, and they're quick and they solve it, and it's great.
Yeah.
I'll move.
Oh, okay, we got her. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'm gonna sign that. Casey, I am gonna ask you to scan this for me because my new printer scanner is all screwed up and I don't know why. And if you just send it to me, then I can forward it on them. Okay. Because I'll be looking for you. Thanks, guys. Okay. And that's all the pages. Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome. All right, that's MRB is done. All right, let's see what else. Another thing that's sort of a miscellaneous is I will not be here for the February meeting. I will be somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on a cruise ship, and so I'm not calling in. So Mandy, you'd be.
I might not be here.
So you won't be here February. I won't be here February. Carol, you're not here February.
No.
All right, so we need a quorum in the room.
It's February 13th, right?
2, 4, 5. We would have a quorum if everybody else sitting in the room is going to be here.
At this point, I should be here.
Okay.
Should be.
All right, so since the only officer that we know will be left standing, who isn't really an officer yet, is Bill. Bill, would you be willing to chair the meeting?
Sure, if I'll be here.
Yeah.
Trying to check the basketball schedule right now.
Just have a very quick and efficient meeting.
That's right.
There you go. All right, so for now, Bill, unless something comes up, I mean, if honestly, if one of you 5 can't make it, you don't have a quorum.
Right.
And we're
And
gonna.
I'll let you know if
cancel.
my plans are changed. They're kind of,
Up in the air.
yeah, so
Yeah.
if I'm gonna be here, I'll let you know.
Yeah, and just make sure Bill's on copy of any of that stuff or what needs to be on the agenda, because Bill will be the guy.
And I'll have my stuff done ahead of time and hand it off to somebody.
Always
The checks,
Yeah,
probably to you, because you'll have to countersign them. And you can
yeah,
take them
that's
from
right.
there.
Dan's the only other signer.
Yeah, I leave on the 2nd. I have time to get everything done before that.
Yeah.
Which means I want your stuff.
Okay. All right, I think that was all the stuff that was weird and out of order. Let's do the resolutions next. So you have all hopefully had a chance to look at the resolutions that the governance committee spent a lot of time on, got us all organized. As we go through each one, if there's anything where you're like, I don't understand why that's that way, we can certainly talk about it. But you'll remember that all the resolutions are done by a roll call vote. So resolution 2025-0101 is the terms for the board. And so this particular one, it shows the exit date of all the different people and when their term ends. So that's all been updated, and hopefully everybody, when you looked at it, didn't say, wait a minute, that's not right. And so I will now do a roll call, and it's yay, nay, or abstain. So Mary Farrell says yay. Mandy?
Yay.
Bill?
Yay.
Jim?
Yeah.
Dave Snow?
Yes.
Carol?
Yay.
Dan?
Aye.
Pam?
Yes.
Done. There you go. Number 2 is confirming the appointment of a new director. And this would be Warren Smith would be joining us for his first 3-year term. Remember, now we're out of the weirdness of some people had 1 year and 2 year, because now we've got classes of directors to move through. So Warren would be on our board until December 2027. I say yay to resolution 2. Mandy?
Yay.
Bill?
Yay.
Jim?
Yay.
Dave?
Yeah.
Carol?
Yes.
Dan?
Aye.
Pam?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Well done. Welcome to the board. Welcome to the board. And from this point on, you will also now be voting.
Oh,
Because Now
okay.
you're a member of the board. Okay, this is resolution 0103. This is electing the officers of the corporation. So that's for another year, me as chair, Mandy as vice chair, Carol as treasurer, and new Bill McDonough as secretary. I say yay to resolution 3. Mandy?
Yay.
Bill?
Yay.
Jim?
Yay.
Warren?
Yay.
Dave?
Yay.
Carol?
Yes.
Dan?
Aye.
Pam?
Yes.
I know it's like paint watching paint dry, but we're getting through them. Okay, there is an amending, we are amending in resolution 4, we're amending the governance committee charter. So the governance board has made some changes to that. And I will say yay to those changes. Mandy?
Yay.
Bill?
Yay.
Jim?
Yay.
Warren?
Yay.
Dave?
Yay.
Carol?
Yes.
Bill? Dan?
Aye.
Pam?
Yes.
Number 5, this is amending the Finance and Audit Committee charter. I say yay. Mandy?
Yay.
Bill?
Yay.
Jim?
Yep.
Warren?
Yay.
Dave?
Yay.
Yes.
Carol? Dan?
Yep.
Dan.
Yes.
Just trying to mix it up a little. Okay, number 6, there is an amendment to the travel and training policy. I say yay on number 6.
Yay.
Mandy, thank you. Bill?
Yay.
Jim?
Yay.
Warren?
Yay.
Dave?
Yay.
Carol?
Yes.
Dan?
Aye.
Pam?
Yes.
What this new fancy thick paper. It's hard to get it out. Number 7 is us amending our video conferencing policy. The big change here was to align with the new dates of the New York State laws. I say yay.
Yay.
Mandy, thank you. Bill?
Yay.
Jim?
Yep.
Warren?
Yay.
Dave? Carol?
Yes.
Dan?
Aye.
Pam?
Yes.
Okay, number 8, updating the bylaws that will be dated now January 9th. I say yay. Mandy?
Yay.
Bill?
Yay.
Jim?
Yep.
Warren?
Yay.
Dave?
Yay.
Carol?
Yes.
Dan?
Nope.
Pam?
Yes.
And this is the, number 9 is the annual meeting resolution. And basically what this does with a lot of information It does name the Finance and Audit Committee. We talked about it, and so now on Finance and Audit will be Dave and Carol and Warren. And then for governance, I'm gonna move from finance over to governance, replacing Jeannie. So that seemed right. And in section 1 is a list of every single one of our documents in the current date of those documents. So this is like the magic one. If you're trying to say what's current, this is the one that tells you. Okay, I say yay. Mandy,
Yay.
Bill,
Yay.
Jim,
Yay.
Warren,
Yay.
Dave,
Yay.
Carol,
Yes.
Dan,
Yep.
Pam.
Yes.
Okay, that's done. Just want to make sure I get it back to you in the right order. There you go. And you can, let's get all that stuff. Okay, done. All right, now we can actually go back to the, can we have someone approve the December 5th? I just want to make sure we got through all of that with everybody here. Okay, approval of the December 5th minutes. I need someone to make a motion.
All motion.
Thanks, Bill. Can I have a second?
Sure.
Second.
Oh, Warren, I got
My first official
Warren.
act.
Everybody in favor?
Yes.
Yay.
Any opposed? Okay, done. All right, then that brings us actually to part 3 of this. Okay, so Scott sent us his outstanding projects report. Did anybody have any questions? I know, do you want to talk at all? There were some grant applications that didn't.
Yep, so the 2 that we spent on behalf of the town and village, the town's Club Street program, the next phase didn't get awarded. We did ask for debriefing on why. We haven't heard back from them yet on a date. And the joint comp plan also did not get awarded, so we requested a debriefing on that. You know, as the letters say, this year they had a overwhelming number of applications and limited amount of funding, so.
They probably figured we had our turn, you know.
And the village didn't get theirs as well for East End Park Phase 2, so.
Okay.
We did get the food access grant in.
Yep.
After some crying and poking at the end.
But enough about me. Calling him every 15 seconds. Is it done yet? Is it done? Oh my God.
No, not from you. I'm
Oh, is it?
crying and poking him to finish what he forgot.
Yeah.
But,
So this is a good point for probably, we have it a little later in the agenda. We, in our special meeting about applying for the Ag and Markets Grant, had requested a bunch of things that we wanted to make sure that the Shavasty family was going to provide us on financials before we would agree to accept the grant. They were supposed to do that by the beginning of February. We were going to get a lawyer to write a letter asking for that information. I sent all of you an email when I saw the letter that they put in their grant commitment. It basically, Mike Shavasty said, can you send me that document? And then he used that document to write the letter. So we would have to vote to change what we agreed to that says we're good with the commitment letter that went in with the grant in lieu of spending money with an attorney. But we should talk about that. I haven't contacted an attorney because I wanted to have this conversation. But where we stood voting wise was we were going to get a lawyer letter. So how do people feel about that? Do you feel the commitment letter in the grant is sufficient?
I do.
I think you're okay until the grant's awarded. I don't see you having to spend any money until you know if you're getting the grant or not.
Now, I do
Would be my
think that
thoughts.
so first of all, let's take a vote on that. Can I have a motion that we will not do a lawyer letter and use the grant commitment letter instead? And you're fine with staying on that.
Oh, motion.
Okay, so Mandy
And not get a lawyer.
motions. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Dan seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So with that, we still need a couple of people to sit down with them and actually get the information, probably go with Dick McSherry. Just because he's the one that's kicking in a bunch of money, $30,000, right? I'd like someone to do that because my time is limited between now and when I leave. I don't know if that should be Finance Committee.
What specifically we're trying?
There were specific things that we asked for. Documentation that shows sufficient, I can give you this, babe. Documentation for sufficient funds to restock the store opening in April. The proposed footprint we have, right, because that was part of the grant. And then income taxes and financial documents to show that there's no tax liens on the business.
And we're just gonna put it with KDC and keep it in a folder somewhere? or-
Yeah, at this point, I would just say the finance committee along with, or members of finance along with Dick McSherry met with them and felt satisfied with what they saw. I mean, it's very personal information. I don't need to see the Chavity's tax returns, right? But we need somebody from our board, a couple of people from our board looking at it and saying, because we're putting our name on this, right? Because the grant is coming.
Do they have
through us.
an accountant?
I believe they do.
I would even take a letter from the accountant stating there's no
Yeah,
tax liens.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also bowed to our benefactor. And they
Is
wanted,
he requesting that or?
Yeah.
It was one of the stipulations that he requested at the meeting, which
Yeah.
is that.
Okay.
I mean, it may be one of the things, Dan, where we could engage and say, hey, would this work in lieu
Would this
of?
suffice?
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I'm happy to help with that.
yeah, can we, that'd be great, Mandy, as the vice chair, if you did that.
I'm just wondering who's gonna make the evaluation though? I mean, what level of money does he? need
Well,
to
I mean,
have?
I think it's more like they have to say, in order to restock the store to open in April, we need $50,000. I'm making that up.
Okay,
And we have the $50,000, right?
they
So
just have to say that, or do we need to see their bank account that says they have 50K?
I think,
What's it say there?
it just says, it says
So
documentation.
that
So,
shows
yeah.
significant funds.
So that's what I'm asking. I mean, what,
I can talk to Dick and see if he has a specific, because was that one of his stipulations? as
It
well?
was, and
Yeah, it
I can,
Yeah, if you
you
can
saw
email
that
that.
letter and I can, yeah, I mean, I'll give this to you guys. I
so
mean,
no word
Dave,
of
I'm
word
looking at you,
document.
Dave, as the head
Yeah.
chair of finance, maybe you and Mandy.
okay.
And then, all right, so I'll give you this, and then
the
I think,
documentation could be basically, I have sufficient funds to restock the store, sign, vice, let's say,
oh,
a
yeah,
spreadsheet or something.
yeah.
So I guess it's gonna depend on like what, it's to your point, is, what is sufficient.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is Dick gonna ask us to?
Well,
do due
what I would
diligence and-
say is if you, the three of you meet with Mike, and Mandy, maybe if, since you probably know all parties the best,
Mhm.
say, set up a meeting with the three of you and Mike and just say, here's what we're gonna be looking for. And if Dick's at that meeting and Dick is comfortable and you guys are comfortable, then you come back to the board in February and say, we're comfortable.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you.
When is the grant gonna be awarded?
Not until March.
The application said they expect an award in March.
Okay, thank you.
Which is why we want to kind of get this done early
Right.
February. That was the timing on it. Is everybody good with that plan? Carol, did you want to be a piece of that?
No, I think these guys can do fine.
Okay, it's just you're the other, other standing member of the finance committee.
Mary, can I ask you a question? So,
Yeah.
really to Scott and the group for all those projects that weren't awarded. So the impact of the East End not being awarded is really kind of across the street, those red buildings, expanded parking lot.
Yeah.
What's the impact of the Club Street project for the
There's
phase
no
2?
impact on the current Club Street
Right.
project. They were just trying to build on the momentum and get the final
Like extra.
The
burst or
final
whatever?
round of docks from
Yeah.
Edgewater's plan in the future would
Got it.
include taking the next boathouse from Trotter, buying the next boathouse from Trotter. So it
That's the
doesn't
one with
have-
the white building in front of it, right?
Yes, yeah.
That was the one you wanted to buy. Yep.
Yep.
All right.
So it doesn't have any effect on what they're doing now
Correct,
between
right.
the current Parks grant and the current voter infrastructure grant and New York Forward grant. So the main project's gonna move forward. We're just trying to build on that and.
Can we get a
capitalize on
second
it.
voter infrastructure grant?
Yes, we can, and that's already been just in discussions with Ben and Greg.
Okay.
Their feedback was a little odd on that one. They already told us that because they didn't own the Trottier property, that was gonna be the match. It didn't qualify, which is odd because that's the exact same situation of the grant we got right now, and we've already signed a contract for. I mean, we didn't own Captain Jack's or the other Trotter property when they awarded us the first $850,000. So it's the exact same situation. So
Is the town thinking about trying to do it any other way? The Trotter property at this point without the grant?
Well, I mean, we're gonna keep looking at opportunities and, yeah, I mean, at this point, we're not,
Holding town.
well,
We'll be looking at applying for the grants again next year.
If not the same grant, a different type of grant, finding money
I
somewhere.
said the village can, but they can't use the property purchase as a match. They would have to come up with the 25% out of pocket. So
is that a
they're
timeline? Is
3
that-
years from
Yeah,
the
is that what it
purchase
is?
of the property. You can go back 3 years from when the grant applications are due. So this would have been the
That's
last
our
year the
last
village
shot.
could have applied to use the 186 that they paid for the property.
We do have a interview with them Friday, the 17th, I think, to find out why.
Okay, anything else on Scott? Thank you, Scott. I put out an additional projects. Pam, did you have any update on your EV charging stations? Because that was, you were gonna have a meeting.
Oh, we did not have a meeting about EV chargers, so now we're meeting on Tuesday. I did forward the updated email from Connor to our board, talking about now the infrastructure part. It sounds like even National Grid is going to have to make more adjustments to their equipment down there because of the size that we're proposing. So informally, I talked to Jerry and we wondered if we have to go to a smaller system. And
Not do 3, maybe do 2 charging stations, maybe.
Right, well, I think what it's being structured for now is 6, right? I mean, 5,
3.
but no, with the in-ground for the 2, the additional in the future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we have to figure that out. So I might request that Connor come to a meeting.
Yeah, so here's the one thing on EV charging stations for this board. Which, I mean, I'm assisting on this, right? It's not officially one of our projects, but obviously we like to communicate across all the boards what's going on. Charging, so National Grid would be potentially giving the village a grant with an up to a 90%, right? So they'd only owe 10 for the under the ground infrastructure piece. And then the chargers would be a separate grant, and our plan was for Scott to apply for that grant because it has to be in by February 28th. I've been going back and forth with the village saying, you know, we're running out of runway for Scott to do the chargers, right? To get that grant in time. At the same time, they haven't made, and you don't want to get the chargers and the village say, we don't want to pay for the infrastructure. So we've been in this sort of catch-22 over the holiday season. I guess the only thing I would ask is, what do you guys, that a municipality would have, unfortunately, a municipality has to apply for the chargers. So we're not really as an LDC in any way able to sort of move this along. Personally, obviously, I've spent time on this. I think it's really important. We would be the only charging stations, and it would be right by the ferry dock. I mean, Dan, I don't know, has the town talked about EV charging at all?
We haven't. But.
I think we're missing, do believe we're missing an opportunity here, big time.
Well, the infrastructure is already.
It's applied
It's
for,
applied for, so-
but are you gonna accept it? I mean, that's the vote that's being questioned.
Did they award the chargers without infrastructure? Do we
No,
know?
and they
No,
won't repay
no.
either of them until both are done.
But now the holdup is National Grid can't finish the design because they're saying they need to beef up their equipment to even put this in for us. So
Right,
we have
but
to
I
wait
guess
till their
here's the, I
engineers
guess,
finish.
from the LDC's point of view, I'd like everybody's point of view, not Mary's. And that is, do we think it's worth us taking the risk and using Scott's time to apply for the chargers.
That would be under the village's name.
We'd have to
We'd
get
have
the
to
village to agree that they would do that, and they would do that on the 14th, but how do you guys, because I mean, technically, they could say, yes, yeah, we're willing for the LDC to pay for Scott's time to write this grant, and then they say, oh, yeah, but no, we decided we don't want to go for the infrastructure, which means that even if you got the grant for the chargers, you got no place to put it.
Scott, are you at all familiar with that new grant that for the equipment, the EV chargers?
I haven't went
Yep.
through it yet. no.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you sent us the link, and we do
Right.
have two companies bids
Right, too.
that, so we know what we would have to apply for. The right kind of chargers and stuff. So I don't know, I guess we're just probably in a holding pattern until you guys meet
On
again.
Tuesday.
Yeah, but how do you guys feel about,
But what we need to give Scott a heads up, because if it's due in February,
yeah,
so I think we need to make a decision tonight if we want Scott to, I would say if the village moves forward, then my vote would be to have Scott move forward with the grant and not make him do it last minute in February.
Mhm.
Right.
Like, he needs the time to do it. I think
And
that's not
When
fair.
will the village could make a decision on
On
whether they want
Tuesday.
on Tuesday? Well,
Right.
then wouldn't that
I mean,
start
we're
July? When they
committed
make
to the
that?
idea. We want them. We just have to figure out the funding, just because we're just recovering from the ready shortfall.
mhm.
We did get that final payment, so we could find money to pay our upfront cost, I believe, but.
But we need to vote tonight, so
Yeah.
Scott doesn't have to wait.
Right,
Right.
So even if this doesn't go this year, the work would be done for the next time. we
next
submit
time
it.
there's a
Correct.
go around for
Right.
that,
I mean,
yeah.
we can reuse the work. It's
Yeah.
not gonna go away. So
Seems like we want, I mean, ideally, we have EV chargers here. so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
This
and
year,
it's an
next
ideal
year.
location,
Right,
it's right, in
exactly.
right behind the chamber there, I mean, it is a good location.
Oh,
Who's that grant through?
The
National Grid's the
infrastructure
first
is
part.
National Grid, and the chargers is through New York State.
The charges is New York State.
And
we
that,
dealt
they
with-
have to be a municipal grant, the national, the under the ground stuff, we could be the people, but we'd have to get a loan.
It sounds like they're upping the cost though, even to the village on that portion. so.
Yeah, well, yeah, or, it's, yeah, I think
What's
we-
it feeling like the cost would be to the village?
it was
400,000.
it was 170,000 currently.
But the overall, if we went through for everything, it would be for.
Oh, right, if we had to do the chargers as well.
And it's a 90% match.
It's a 90% match on
On
the
national-
infrastructure. So
on
the
National Grid.
infrastructure, if it came in at 170, they would only be on tap for $17,000
It's like
for
20
everything
20
under
right
the
now,
ground.
Yeah.
For
Which
3
would be great.
dual-sided things and the ability for us to add 2 more chargers at some point.
So another one of those, they have to pay for the whole 170 up front, and then someday they'll get a.
Oh, and they have to wait until the chargers are
That
in.
everything has to be complete, so we
Also,
won't even see
you're
that
gonna
money.
have interest
For a
on
long
several
time.
years worth of
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
Okay.
that's been the drawback and the
Yep.
hold up.
yeah,
Is there revenue for the village? Do people have to pay when they use the chargers?
yeah,
So who gets that money? Is it National Grid or the village?
We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
There's different ways to set it up.
yeah. We would want to set it up that it came back to the village,
Yeah.
Certainly,
right?
yeah.
Just out of curiosity, where is like the closest chargers besides where we're located at?
Yeah, I mean, it's, there's
Similar.
none in Alex Bay. There's
Well,
none
there
in
is
Lake-
some at the visitor center when you come across.
Across the bridge,
They
yeah.
do have them there. I didn't know if there's anything in between that. So it seems like it would be advantageous.
Yeah, I think it would be.
So I agree with that, with Mandy, if I heard her correctly, which is basically kind of conditionally based, if it is pursued for the infrastructure, then I agree that we use our funds for Scott to go ahead and write the grant for the chargers.
Everybody seem comfortable.
I'm in agreement with that. Where'd the 400,000 come up with?
So
That's if we got 2 chargers.
3 chargers.
3
So
chargers
it's
plus the
infrastructure,
The infrastructure is how much?
170. And then the
And that
3,
came from National Grid?
that was the estimate from National Grid.
Which
But
is
then we
not
got this
final
letter
yet,
today that there
saying
might be
it's probably
something
gonna be more.
additional. And they haven't told us exactly the amount or if we got the 90%, but the person we've been dealing with is fairly confident we will get the 90%.
So the chargers themselves and the software is 230,000. So
Yeah.
that's what we would be submitting to this, regardless of what the additional costs are for the installation.
Yeah.
And what piece of that is, of the 230 is?
It was like, let's say it was 90. I don't remember off
three
the top
levels,
of my
right?
head.
So the chargers themselves are like 65 to 70 a piece.
A piece.
And then, I don't know if that is still current, or.
I mean, those are
It's a couple
fairly
years
recent.
old.
They were fall
Yeah,
of this year. I mean, you know, things go up and down, but
So the person you're dealing with at National Grid, I mean, any conversations on if we don't do a grant, we just pay you guys to do it, you take the revenue from it? Will they work with us on that?
the only reason we were going down the National Grid thing, Dan, was specifically because we knew that there was this big amount of money for EV charging.
90%, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we were just trying to
It's a
keep
really-
the price
yeah.
tag low.
20%, 10%. So it's a 20%, 10% or no match based on the MHI.
And that's right, when I looked at the MHI, we were below it, which meant it was 100%. Thank you for saying that.
That's for the equipment.
For the equipment, yeah. So I mean, it's a boatload of stuff to walk away from, except you gotta have this money up front, which means they have to get a van to do it.
So the village, the thought is the village will decide at their meeting whether it
Tuesday.
needs to proceed. So if they. say
Well,
yes,
whether
they say yes.
they'll do both parts, and
Right.
then Scott is the person that would do the chargers. And then we've got, you know, the company we've been working with, BDE, who's already submitted the national.
So we're
grid.
kind of pre-approving that if the village says, yeah,
Right.
we're going to actually apply.
Then we want Scott to write that grant.
Who's gonna be the applicant?
The village. It has to be a municipality, so it's the village.
Are you set up in the SRF system? And if not, can Mary do that tomorrow?
What is the
Not you.
SRF?
SFS, it's like the old Grants Gateway that took us 6 weeks to finally get finalized.
For
It's the
the
old one?
town. So, but you, I mean, you
It's
set
not
us up
the-
for the
oh.
town, so just set us up for the village. You've got all the.
No, you're
documents.
set up for the LDC,
Exactly.
because you, why?
Yeah.
I didn't do a town.
Which one is it called? I'm sorry.
SFS vendor portal. I'll email it to you.
Okay, perfect. I'll
And there
find
was,
out.
there was more than one
I'm
step.
guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a bunch of
You can get a
documents we
step, so
needed. Yeah.
you get logged in, they'll give you
It's
the
just basic
login,
stuff
but then
you
you
have,
gotta,
though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is
no,
stuff
but
you
it's
have.
stuff
It was
she
just,
had.
we'd never done it before, so it was like oh, and now I need this, and now I need that. They needed like my
What's the
resume.
name of the equipment grant? Easy something? That doesn't matter. I can dig it out.
Municipal zero emission vehicles infrastructure grant.
Okay.
2024.
Yeah, that's why it's gotta be in by February 20th. Okay, good.
So
Sounds
I'll
like,
make a motion to, if the village wants to move forward with the grants, we authorize Scott to do the grant work.
all right, can I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Bill seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. All right. Economic development strategy.
So we received 5 proposals. They're still in the shared folders. And right now we have a decision matrix that was created over the last month. And that includes the definition, the units of measure, along with a 1 to 5 scale for how to rate them. So the question for the group is, do we want to have that voted on by every single one of the members of the board? Or do we want to do that within the subcommittee of Bill, Jim, and myself? Take the results and then brief it to the board.
So I'm gonna throw a curveball in it. So this is one of the reasons I want to have this marketing destination talk. Because although we've been going down the path of economic development, I think we may want to tell the economic development RFP, we're gonna postpone that because I'm wondering if this marketing destination is a better use of our money at this point in time. Just Mary Farrell's thoughts based on I read all of the documents that we got from the people, the RFP responses. The reason is, my fear isn't, and this is just me making it up, right? That an economic development thing is gonna say, it'd be great if you got a chip manufacturing plant out on Route 6. And we're all gonna say, yeah, that'd be great, but we don't want that, right? What the marketing destination thing is how do you delight your visitors so that they come and spend more money? And when they spend more money, your businesses thrive, which is good for your residents. And so I think we probably need both. I just think that the marketing destination might be the best first step for us. And the reason I'm mentioning this is think about what we've got happening right now. We've got the Club Street thing is going to be done. We've got New York Forward, redoing Broadway. Everything is going to get spiffed up. And how are we going to talk about it? And this isn't just a tagline. I mean, this particular guy worked with the Wild Center in Saranac Lake. Before they built the arches there, or if you've seen that, they made $70,000 a year. They now make $70,000 a month. This guy knows what he's doing. Now, we probably still need to do an RFP, right? Because that's our process, although technically he's a consultant. He works exclusively in upstate New York. But I just want you all to hear that before we pull the trigger on economic development. I don't want to throw us a curveball, but it just seems to me that the timing might be right for a marketing destination plan, possibly create a subcommittee that's a tourism council that helps administer that. And it's going to be a 5 to 10 year plan. And then we say a couple years from now, yeah, okay, great. We've got all this going. Now let's come back in around with economic development above and beyond this. And we could say, because we didn't say when we decide on economic development, we could say to those folks, we've decided to postpone it. We'll keep your stuff. Anyway, that thoughts, questions, it's just, I was so inspired by this guy and where we are in development. So what do you guys think? I mean, you've got to hear him, obviously.
Did we set this up yet?
That's where I asked for the
Okay.
dates.
Okay.
So I need to know by tomorrow. Dan, I haven't heard from anybody on your board except you. So I don't know when. I'm going to ask him to record it.
I think Al said Monday. I didn't see anything from Paul.
Yeah, I asked Michelle today if she could tickle him because I'd like to know by tomorrow so I can set the date, but I'll let you guys know and I will ask to record it.
What was the second date?
It was Monday, the 27th or Wednesday, the 15th, both at 7 p.m. So I tried to avoid dates that I knew any of us had meetings. So, and I knew the chamber usually meets on a Monday, but that wasn't their Monday. So I thought we were okay with a Wednesday or Monday. So again, Dave, not to kind of cut off where you are, but I just wanted to bring this up.
Yeah, and I sat through the first part of the discussion with Barry, and he does have a very compelling brief. The only thing that I did notice with it is that he put a marketing destination survey out to Chenango County.
Oh, Shenango.
Shenango County, and he didn't win it.
Mhm.
So somebody else outbid him during the process, so.
The interesting thing is Alma
Yeah.
was involved in that, so we might be able to ask Alma.
So
Why can't we move forward with at least looking at these and having this, I think having this, we have a subcommittee for a reason, that let them look at it, let them bracket stack them and come back to us in court and still move forward with meeting with this guy. And if, once we have met with this guy, because that'll be February, right?
Sometime here in January.
Right. Then we can have an educated decision.
Yeah,
Rather than
I
go
just
straight
wanted
by
to
the
kind of
grade.
give you context on why all of a sudden this was coming up in the middle of
Yeah,
economic.
and these
development.
people put their applications in. I think we owe it to them to at least review them.
Oh, I agree.
So that would be my suggestion is the committee bring it back,
Mhm.
their top one
makes
and
sense.
reasoning, and then we can decide where we want to, how we want to move forward.
Okay. And the reason I really want to bring this up for this one, and if we move forward, is that, you know, I'm not going to vote on it or award it, obviously, but how do we want to proceed in the future when we have
Yeah.
RFPs?
Mhm.
Subcommittee will do a sub vote, then we'll bring it back, results, brief it out, and then either decide yes or no.
Recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's.
Not push it to the whole group, though.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Everybody
then
good
we
with
will
that? Yeah.
compile the rest of the results and be ready next month, to brief it back with the results, and then we can either decide to award it or we pocket it until the future and we move on to a destination survey.
And we,
Okay.
couldn't we do an RFI for the destination marketing and then decide that what, like,
Yep.
what
Oh,
the
yeah.
cost is?
Mhm.
We don't have to decide right now for this. I
Neither
know,
one.
and those.
No, I mean, I
companies-
think probably it might be good, since they all got them in December, that after the February meeting, you know, maybe we say to the subcommittee, you know, tell them we're still evaluating.
Yeah.
Right, send something out that says, you know, we got it, we know you're still there and breathing, and,
Say in fairness to them, they might not hold their price that long, 'cause it's New Year. And
Yeah.
second, if they're trying to plan their
Yeah.
work schedule and you
Mhm.
sit and hold it.
Yeah.
it's not-
Yeah.
You should let them know one way or the other.
Well, food for thought. And so basically, I'm just kind of looking at, you know, I think you're getting after the same thing, whichever approach. It's just a different way to look at it. But I would really be surprised if the organization that is awarding the RFP or us or combined doesn't have a marketing component as part of it. So it's like, it's already there. And if it's not, then we're foolish not to have it. And
yeah,
so-
he talked about, you know, sort of traditional economic development versus marketing, which he calls a marketing destination, which he sort of calls the fifth
Right.
plank of, so I think, you know, again, I'm at an unfair advantage because now I've heard the guy twice.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we should hear them.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we just pursue with what we've got. It may give us idea, either go with him, can go in that direction, or just ideas for us to market. Whatever comes out of the economic development plan. So.
Yep, all right, good. All right, what's next? Thank you, everybody.
Whole business.
Oh, yeah, we're on Dan, town's activities.
Oh, we're out for permits, still waiting for approvals on everything. Hoping that we get some ice. I think if we get some ice, the other Trotter boathouse will be good to come down.
Oh,
Just,
It's easier to do it in the ice.
like, we probably wouldn't even go on the ice, but it's a lot cleaner of debris and
Okay. Interesting.
it makes the DC a little happier. If stuff falls on the ice, you can pick it up and
Yeah, oh, that makes sense.
so we're kind of hoping, I mean, the water's been turning over. If the wind quits blowing, it'll probably start to freeze. So,
I think so, it's cold enough.
other than that, hurry up and wait, like everything else.
Update on Tibbetts Point since I sent my report.
Oh, okay.
The local office approved the temporary fence.
They
so,
did?
That's what Paul told me on the phone yesterday. So,
I didn't know that.
they approved the temporary fence. As soon as they get it in writing from the state, they'll submit it to George, but locally they have approved. Mark Spalding
And
approved
isn't
it.
the temporary exactly what you guys wanted for permanent? What is
No,
temporary?
no, it's not. It's
I
something
don't
different.
even know
Plastics, no offense.
Please tell me it's not plastic stuff.
I don't know what the engineers submitted. Paul just told me yesterday that BCNA got verbal approval from Mark Spalding locally, so.
Basically, just to get approval from National Park
Parks.
Services to turn it over to the state. That's really all it is. And he said if the New York State Parks approves the temporary, he would.
Okay.
When?
So
Who
then they
knows?
will install that and transfer property to the state, and then the state can put in the fence that they originally wanted
Yeah,
without federal approval.
right. Please tell me that that was low on the riverside. It's not high.
It's the low, like down at East End Park.
think it
that
is.
wouldn't
Good.
be-
Ugly to have it in there. Okay, sorry, personal preference.
Just got that information
I
yesterday.
have to look at it when I work on Tuesdays. All right, thanks, Dan. Village. Dan.
So December was our annual organizational meeting and we welcomed our new board member, Michael Shabasty. He wasn't able to be there because of a family situation, but he'll be at our next meeting. We selected Heritage Resources for the small business fund.
Small
Small projects fund
Part
for
of
the
New
New
York
York
State.
Forward portion. And we've already started to work with Alma, who's the president of that firm, and she's been really good and helpful and it's buzzing along. We'll be reaching out to business owners promptly soon. So that will be good. And I said we didn't get East Penn Park Phase 2. So we're going to be talking about what to do next. We did have a PAC meeting, which was the Project Advisory Committee for the Club Street project in December, and that went well. Tim White, who the town head is handling that, gave an update on the current design status, and it's a good meeting. So okay. Moving along.
All right. Mandy, anything on childcare? She's still
No,
waiting?
she's still waiting. She got an email in December and said to be patient. She reached back out. She was planning to reach back out this week, and so he's waiting for the award letter and official stuff so she can start signing.
All right.
So she's got a verbal or whatever.
Yeah, she has a verbal in the announcement, but not any documentation.
She doesn't have a
that she
grant
can
agreement
give
to
to
sign
Steve
yet.
Hall to start building and prepping the land.
Which office is she dealing with of New York State? Do you know?
I don't know.
That's okay. I'm sure they're similar to the others. We have one that goes, we're still waiting for 9 years for that. Please go up. 9 years.
Oh, my gosh. All
Let's hope
right.
she's not reading that one.
Yeah, I hope not either. Oh, my gosh, we need childcare. All right, Lori Moss, thank you for being on the phone in the car, it looks like. Update on the chamber, please. Oh, no.
By the way. So the update on the chamber, we lost one chamber board member, Sandy Cohn. We gained 2 chamber members, Patty Bach and Sarah Dayton. We are teaming up with Christy to go to the Sportsman Expo. So anybody has material for that, it needs to be at the chamber office by the 20th. And the only other thing I have for you is I will try to get a list for you for the marketing destination, which I'm pretty
Yeah, I
excited
heard
about.
from some of the people, because the email said to send it to me, so, and they've got till tomorrow. But I'll let you know, Lori, if I'm not hearing.
Okay,
I heard from you, I heard from Lindy, I heard from Patty. That might be the only ones I heard.
I think Sarah's gonna come.
Okay. Yeah, again,
I'll try to put,
I'm just trying to figure out which date gets the majority of people live, and then, you know, because he can do either one, he's holding his calendar.
Mhm.
Great. And also, I could not open that survey you sent me. I sent you an email. You had sent a survey the chamber was thinking about sending out. So I couldn't get to
yeah, I
it.
don't think we're gonna go forward.
Okay. I'm all for you not going forward on that. Okay, good.
Okay, great.
Not that my personal opinion matters on that, but that's my
Lori?
personal opinion.
Yes,
Is Sportsman's Expo in Syracuse? Is that the one?
yes, on the 20, it's on, it's from the weekend of the 24th.
Of January.
Yes.
Question, how do businesses know that you're going and can provide things?
So we sent out an email blast today, and we also put out a Facebook post today asking for, because we were looking for somebody to go. So we've teamed up with Christy. She's going to go. So we sent everything out today. It needs to be in the chamber office by the 20th.
Okay.
And you broke up, Lori, a little bit at the beginning. Did you say Sandy Combs resigned?
I did.
Okay, the name, it broke up at that point. I wanted to make sure I got it right for my notes. Okay. Good. Any other questions?
And if someone's not getting these emails, who would they speak to?
Did you hear her, Lori?
Which emails?
Angel Rock is not getting the emails.
No, just in general.
Oh, okay. I will make sure that Angel Rock is on there. You could send a email to the chamber. Ariel's pretty good about responding.
Ariel?
Yes.
If you do Chamber of Commerce, I think is their email.
Yes. Mhm.
And just so you guys know, we always put our, dates and what's happening is one of our things. There was a problem with it again this month, and what's happening on our location. But I got a note from the chamber that said they were going to take the publication of what's happening in-house. And so I resent your note,
Yes.
Casey, and said, these are the dates and these are the locations. Please, if you could get it right, that would be helpful. And it said, I want this on the front page. And they also said that the format was going to totally change for February. So just be on the lookout for that. I don't know what that is, but hopefully our dates, times, and locations are going to be correct.
So February should be our first in-house what's happening.
Okay.
And our membership packet just rolled out also.
Great. Thank you, Lori. All
Okay.
right. I just want you to be dazzled that we got through all this, and it is 6:23 on my watch. Does anyone have anything else?
I do.
Oh, Lauren, yes, good.
The business.
New
No, I
business.
just wanted to give an update on, the presentation I did a
Yes,
couple months
please.
ago and so forth. The good news is I did meet with Tilt, and they're willing to assist us on any kind of grant, but there's a lot of steps that need to occur first. Obviously, the first one is getting landowner approval, which right now we do not have. So, but they were willing to assist us if we could get that portion done in terms of doing the grant. I'm really lean when it comes to understanding how grants work, but at least they were very positive about it. I did get an opportunity to meet with or talk to the Masons. That did not go well at all. They did give me permission to walk on their property, which goes from Burnt Rock all the way down to the transfer station. And it's just a beautiful stretch of property. I mean, all the work is done for a trail because of the railroad, because of the water lines and so forth. I mean, it is pretty spectacular. And if you would take that up to the Ashland wildlife area, I mean, it's very impressive. Tilt sent out a few days ago, they're having this contest to go visit, there's 7 different trails that they have in the area. And sort of a photo contest, and if you, go to it, take a picture, and, if you want a prize or something. And I've been on every one of these trails more than once, and the potential for this trail just blows away anything that Tilt has, to be quite honest. It just completely blows it away, because there's just so many different ways we could make use of this trail. I sent Mary a sort of a fun top 10 reasons why we should have a trail. So, I mean, I'll say one last time, it is really an impressive strip of property that we could use so many different ways. Now that's the good news. The bad news is I did speak to Marty Mason briefly, and it was a hard no about using the property. He was firm, and then he wouldn't respond to anything after that, because I threw out the idea of, well, I'll buy the property if I have to, because I just think it's that important. It's got that much, and it was just a hard no. So as I spoke to Mary, what I was planning on doing, but help, is to put together an executive summary of the advantages, the benefits and the advantages of using that strip of property, and seeing if we can get someone who is closer to Marty Mason than I am to sit down and talk to him about it. I didn't feel at the point, because it was such a hard no, that I didn't ask, well, what are your objections? Because I felt that I was not the person, to do that.
Anybody got any ideas?
If there's not money in it, it's not gonna happen. From what I know, I'll be frank.
Oh, what do you mean by that, though?
If he's not gonna make money, he's not gonna do it.
Well, but he said he'd buy it.
I knew that was sort of
I don't know.
a shot
Which
in the dark.
property is it? It runs from,
It's the old railroad one.
The
okay,
whole
Right by the
railroad line.
transfer
so
station.
does he have his willows on part of that?
No,
No.
there's nothing built on it because the bank water line runs under it, but he
Okay.
bought that from bank. I would assume he's probably getting rental money from bank for having the water lines underneath it.
Sure.
Oh,
Or
They probably have a
something.
right of way. for
Something-
Infrastructure owned.
That's just my guess.
yeah.
He's not, it's a different Mason family, so I can't help you there.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, as I said to Dawn, I said that I felt like Bob Dylan in the new movie about an unknown, you know? And
I think trying to keep the communication with him might be helpful, but
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a piece of me that says, you know, do we want to make this sort of a project, you know, to a walking trail within our footprint, right, village, town. I know there's been times before where that was brought up. I was at the one meeting where they wanted to go to Tibbetts. Ooh, that was ugly.
That went really well.
Yeah, really well.
hence that's why I asked.
There are
the Masons before I
still
went on their
people,
property.
there are still people that are, I think, shell shocked from it. Oh, there were pitchforks. It was bad.
So anyways, that's where I'm at
Yeah,
on
but I
it.
mean,
I mean,
so
that
what
was
do
my
you-
proposal, to put together sort of a professional executive summary and all the advantages and so forth. And to find someone, anyone, not me, that has a relationship with Marty Mason to see, okay, what are your objections? I mean, there's some really
Have you put that
significant
together?
advantages to the community.
If you put that together, I'm on the village board and we worked for us for a long time. so
Mhm.
just
Probably
chat
wouldn't
with
hurt to bring it to the village and see if, you
Right.
know, somebody
Is-
there could.
Are there trails on what Tilt owns out on Wilson's Point area?
Yeah, oh yeah, the Schmear thing.
Yeah,
There's
is
not
there
really, there's kind of a trail.
Maybe a
Remember
quarter
they-
mile.
Yeah, they're gonna build like a bird watching tower there, which will be interesting. 'Cause it's
I'm
a
not, I
grassy-
think, I've always said that should be a walking trail, the old railroad tracks. I grew up right, one of the farms I grew up on, so I spent hours on those railroad tracks.
Mhm.
But, I think if we can have small wins and work with Tilt to get more of a substantial trail out in Schmear Point area and use that as advertising and show how beneficial that is, and slowly build it.
Well, I
And
thought
then
about,
Continue to move it towards Shmo, towards the Ashland,
well,
because I think it's gonna be a lot for people to, change is not what people like, and
so I did that presentation 2 months ago about change, Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
But, you know, but that's a very good thought. And what I was also thinking, because there's still 2 other landowners, you know, that would have the portion of that. Again, Marty Mason has the most beautiful section, the longest section. But, you know, if we started right off of Elm Street, because there's a mile and a half that goes up to Barrett Road. And even if we could get approval of that section.
Right.
And start with, you know,
And who's that?
positive steps,
Who's
positive.
that owner?
I think, is it Woods Farm?
Woods Farm.
There's a couple farms,
Yeah.
Evening Star Ranch and
Yeah.
H Wood Stone Farm.
it's Favre Road.
Yeah, I'm still
I
not good with my
Well, if you're talking,
pronunciation.
they might not like you if you're not pronouncing their land right.
I text. I think I spelled everything.
I had to correct Neil the other day because he called it Real Street, and I said, no, it's Rail Street. Everybody has a Real Street, that's what.
Depending on where you start, there's a H Wood Stone LLC.
Yeah. So that was my other thought, just like what you were saying, is that maybe if we could start small, if we could get some momentum and
Yeah.
we could get one landowner to say, yeah. and-
So,
And we talked about doing some sensory things
Yeah.
and, you know, historical
Something for-
things,
for
you know,
kids, yeah.
similar to
So-
what Sackett's Harbor does.
so
with their
Dan, would
district.
Al Wood be any help with the wood segment of it? I mean, I know he's sort of not in the farm business anymore,
Yeah,
but,
he's in Oklahoma, he could be.
so maybe if Lauren puts together that, he could talk with Al.
Town owns a small section too, but it looks.
Yes, it
Who does?
does have a small section. there.
I'm sorry.
The town
Yeah,
Oh,
it-
the town
It
owns
does
a
have a
section.
small section too. yes.
off Wilson Road.
The trails are an asset, definitely. wherever
Well,
they
you
are,
know,
so.
again, this is one of these reasons I talk about this marketing destinations. We're gonna have people show up in big buck boats. And we have to have things for them to do, you know, and a nice walking trail would be great, you know, other things that might come from marketing destination study would be things that we want to go after, because when they come with their boat the first time, quoting this guy, We want to delight them so they come again and again and spend money. So. Good. So, maybe, why don't we make this a regular topic? Just walk, are you guys okay? We'll add that in our regular sort of in that ongoing old business thing, walking trail, and just keep up to date on it.
So you're recommending that I do move forward with sort of an executive summary and then present it to the
I think that'd
village?
be helpful.
Start with really small steps and see if we can get some momentum going.
Do you think he should probably at some point do it to the town if the town owns a little segment there too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
If you
fine
go to
doing it.
both boards.
Yeah.
Evening
Just
Star
get
is in there
talk
too?
about it.
It's fall, isn't it?
Oh, that makes sense.
So you did.
I don't know who it is,
Alwood
Evening
and
Star.
Paul are
Overtime.
Yeah.
both on the town.
Yes.
So.
What's the other, so you have Alwood or Woods Farm, Evening Star, Marty, who's the third, who's the other one?
Now, that would be it, because then it goes up to the wildlife management.
So
Yeah.
Marty owns right up to the wildlife. management?
Yeah, and that is public now, and it has a beautiful 2.5-mile trail. It actually has a parking space and everything.
That was
Connect
always, it was always just, nobody owned the railroad track.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, I mean, even Ashland, I mean, we could do more to
Promote that.
promote it,
Right.
right? I mean, I didn't know all this was out there. It's beautiful out there.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Mm.
It's an asset, no doubt about it.
Good, well, we'll put that on the agenda moving forward, so we
Okay.
can continue to talk about it. Jim, did you have anything? I know it's hard when you're on the phone.
No, I'm good at what I'm hearing, actually, in agreement too, frankly.
Good. Oh, Lori's got her hand up. Yeah, Lori. Up, you're muted. You're on mute. She doesn't know that. Lori, you're on mute. You're still on mute.
Can you unmute me?
Okay.
Yay, gotcha.
I'd be really interested in the information about the trails for the chamber, the ones that already are existing. We have a lot of people that come in and ask.
It'd probably be good to have just something that says these are where all the trails are.
The chamber actually has them posted on their website. They
We
are.
don't
there.
have, we have no literature inside the building.
There's a link on the website. I printed them all out. They're actually pretty good. They go back quite a long way. There's, and the biking trails.
Okay.
Loops, so,
But they're on the road.
Biking is.
they
The Vikings
are,
are on the road.
these are bike, yes, and road trails. You're right, yes. I feel like
Okay.
there's, no, there is, what it does, it connects you even to like the Foster Blake Trail. It tells you how
Not
to,
cheap, though.
so it incorporates the walking a little bit, but.
Okay, I'll go on the website. Thank you.
All right, cool.
I did share with Mary and maybe Laura, you might want to know this. There's an economic development forum that Watertown Chamber is putting on next Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. The speakers are a gentleman from Ben Cruz that's doing the Next Move New York, which is the $10 million grant funding they got to help retiring military stay locally with jobs. The lady that's running Inca now that you wanted to hear speak is there.
I know,
speaking.
I'm tied up with 2 meetings on
And
Thursday.
Advocate Drum and BOCES are speaking, but economic development.
Anybody available to
It's
go?
in Watertown at the
16?
Italian American Club.
It's $15 registration fee. I'm sure we could pass a motion to pay that for somebody.
Just to share with you.
Yeah, no, it's great. Anybody, I mean,
Yeah, we
Are they
just
doing
have-
virtual at all?
They don't say they are. And like I said, I didn't know about it. They're on.
Did you
Are
send
you
that?
going?
Yeah, I can do it.
oh, Warren said he can go. Can you send it to me?
I sent to you.
I'll forward it over to you.
It's the
And
16th?
can we have a motion to
9 to
pay the
11
$15
at,
for one? if you
Watertown.
Oh, I
have
think
it?
I can splurge.
Well, no, I have a motion. And can I have a second? I have a second. All
I'll
in
sell my
favor?
cookies.
Sell
I'll do it that
cookies.
way.
All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Almost.
All right, may I have a second?
I'll say.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Bye. I will see you in March.
Have a good night, everyone.